Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, good day, everyone who is watching. So today I'm going to attempt to explain how to write a better essay for Muet writing paper task 2. So I call this technique as hashtag technique. Hopefully it can help you to form your essay better. Issues that face candidates, including me myself, because I have to relearn everything in order to teach Muet essay. I faced the same issues when I was trying to get a good band for my essay. The main issue is TEEEL or T is too basic of a formula to help students make complete arguments. Or if you don't know, T stands for topic sentence, elaboration, example, explanation, and then link. This formula is used by many English teachers, including me, when I was teaching SPM, to help the students form their paragraph. But when it comes to Muet, it's not enough because they will tend to have lack or weak relation between one keyword of key phrase to the other, that they don't make complete arguments in their single paragraph. When I was teaching SPM students to build a paragraph, majority of my students are actually weak to intermediate level. So my aim then was to help them look at a paragraph as simple as I can so that they won't feel overwhelmed with what they are required to do. And in fact, some of my classes, the weak classes, I teach even simpler formula, which is SEE, state, elaborate, and example, because I want them to know that they are able to achieve what is required for them to write an essay. But then now we know that for level B2, C1, and C2, of course, it's impossible to achieve what you are supposed to write using those kind of simplistic formula. So the basic technique is TEL, just like I mentioned just now. Topic, sentence, elaboration, which usually answers the question why, and then specific example, and then explanation of that example, and then link that will re-emphasize whatever that is in the topic sentence. I usually tell my students that this is like Imbaku. It's another formula to help build paragraphs, but in karangan bahasa Melayu. I is isu, M is mengapa, ba bagaimana, K kesan, U is ungkapan, and then P is penegasan. So it's more or less the same with TEL. If I mention this to the students, especially the ones with a very good understanding of how to form paragraphs in BM, they will understand this formula even quicker. So all of this will lead to the candidate focusing only on one part of the statement given. Statement, I mean, is the title. Because they heavily rely on this T. Okay, let's use this question, an example. This is from Muet 2024, session 1. So education on mental health is necessary in the 21st century. What will you do? What will usually be done? You will first ask the question, why? Education on mental health is necessary in the 21st century because of what? Education on mental health is, or the people in the 21st century are very mentally sick, and then you explain it, right? So it's very one-sided. It's either you explain the education on mental health only, you will explain only on that, or how we are in the 21st century. Usually you ask why education mental health, why 21st century. So you end up explaining only on one part of this statement. Let's see an example from one of my previous students. Okay, this is her paragraph. Education on mental health is necessary in the 21st century because it helps with stress management. Education mental health, the relation is to stress management. And then she explains what is stress management. Stress management help people that suffer from stress because lack of job opportunities. And suddenly job opportunities. For instance, automation, AI, and robots replace people in manufacturing industry, causing lack of jobs. Opportunities happen suddenly. I'm not editing this just to show authentic example. With stress management, people would know how to handle their stress. Indeed, stress management is one of, if you see this paragraph, you know that she is following the TEEL. We have the topic sentence, which is education, the topic. Okay, we know this is from the topic, right? And then she answered the question why. It refers to education on mental health, helps with stress management. So good. That is T. Stress management, and then she explained it further. It's an elaboration. We know that. So stress management help people that suffer from stress. Okay. She is elaborating on the stress management part. For instance, we know this is an example. AI and reverse repressed in manufacturing industry causing lack of job opportunities. Okay, we know this. We know this. This is any. With stress management, people would know. Again, this is an explanation because she is explaining what is in the example, lack of job opportunities. And then the explanation again, handling the stress that comes with that issue of lack of job opportunity. And then indeed this word, so that is an L. Indeed, stress management is, she is linking back to the topic sentence. So in theory, this is a very good paragraph because it uses all of the TEEEL. But then when you ask a marker, which I'm not a marker, he or she will tell you that this is not complete. Padam dulu. Next, let's see how using my technique, my hashtag technique, can help to build a better paragraph. Okay, this is the paragraph. As you can see, first glance, you already know the difference is it's longer because it uses a different technique. You don't just use T and then one sentence T and then one sentence E, one sentence E, and one sentence N, and you end up with a 5-sentence paragraph. Let's just read, okay? Firstly, education on mental health is necessary in 21st century because it teaches people stress management skill. Okay, it's the same because it teaches. It still refers to education on mental health. These days, what does these days means? These days means 21st century. Technology advances has caused a lot of damages despite its numerous advantages. For example, so there's one example here. Just now is the T and then E and then E example. More and more people are being laid off from their work, especially in the field such as automation. So these are technological advances, right? So this is giving example to the elaboration that was stated just now. Artificial intelligence and robots are replacing people in different positions because companies prefer this high-tech equipment since it is more reliable and cheaper in the long run. This is an explanation of the example I gave of the elaboration that was stated after the topic sentence. See, it is still using that TEL in a way. There's more and more people suffering from high level of stress due to lack of job opportunities, which lead to loss of income. Job opportunities related to loss of income and related back to the people having high level of stress. If these people are educated on mental health, they would be equipped with stress management skill. Okay, so we go back to this one, mental health and stress management skill. People would know to handle their stress and lessen the impact it would have on them during these trying times. If they are not educated on mental health, okay, this one is to show the necessity of mental health education. If they are not educated on mental health, there is very little possibility that they would know how to deal with such stress positively. They might suffer mentally and ada typo. They might suffer mentally and therefore decreasing their quality of life. Indeed, stress management is one of the reasons why education mental health is necessary. So this part is the necessity. This part is how education mental health is related to the 21st century. This one is talking about 21st century. Yang di sini panjang cakap pasal 21st century. Lepas tu di bawah sini mental health. Lepas tu di bawah sini necessity. Necessity dia. Macam mana mau kaitkan dua tu kepada how to show that it is necessary. It's not just kalau ada bagus, kalau tidak bagus. It's necessary. Okay? Alright. So what is hashtag? It is a process. A process that you need to understand and practice before you get good at it. Okay? It's not just something that you memorize and just applied in your writing. No, it is something that is a bit complicated, more complicated. All right. Just now, let me remind you, just this whole paragraph, it has still grammar mistakes because I didn't edit it. I didn't proofread it. And this is only to get you the content point, you can get higher. But the language point, and this is just average, okay? If you need to increase the language mark, you need to put more sophisticated characteristic. Just for example, You must add more complex sentences, compound complex sentences. You have to put in more less common lexes. But the content point, this is what is required of you to achieve that good content point. Okay? Okay, what is hashtag? As I was saying, the process that can help you get that kind of content is to first identify the keywords or phrases. This is everyone knows this, but you need to practice. Okay, most of my students, they don't know how to separate between an idea and half of an idea. For example, sometimes they cut the noun phrase. Okay, sometimes a statement, okay, the topic that you are given contains a long noun phrase. If you cut it, then I know you don't understand the question itself. So you need to be aware of that. If there is a noun phrase, you have to group them together. If there's a phrasal verb, you must fix them together, not separate them, so that you understand how it is, the ideas are complete and you need to bridge them. Okay? And then the second step is you have to agree or disagree fully. It is better for you to agree or disagree fully to the statement given, except if you have very limited time, because I only said you need to spend a maximum 10 minutes to plan for your essay. If you already hit the 8 minute and you still cannot come up with a full hashtag, okay, fine. 2 agree and then 1 disagree. That is, I agree to a certain extent or disagree to a certain extent. Then it's okay. We need to be aware of the time. Okay? And then you need to brainstorm all of the keywords or key phrases. And then you don't just focus on why. You still have to ask yourself how, what, where, when, who. All of this about all of the keywords or key phrases that you found. You have to ask these questions to yourself and then just scribble. And after that, after you get all of the ideas, you need to rearrange all of the ideas into minimum 3 points for each keyword or key phrase down there, like this. Okay. This will sound very confusing without an example. For example, this question, elemen terbalik ba ni? Okay. We know that young adults today is a complete noun phrase. Okay. You cannot divide young and adults. It's referring to the same group of people, adults, young adults. Add in the today because it is specifically talking about young adults today, these days punya orang muda. Okay. And then I divide them here. Okay. They lack. Like is the verb of this statement. And then lack what? Lack survival skills. I will know that you don't understand the question if you divide it wrongly. So you have to be careful. You have to know basic grammar lah. You have to know basic grammar lah. Okay? And then what's the next step? You have to fully agree or disagree. I agree that young adults today lack survival skill, or I totally disagree that young today because why, what, when, where, how, who. What does survival skills mean? What are the survival skills? What is the importance of survival skills? Who should teach the young adults of today to learn survival skills? How can one know the young adults are lacking? All of these questions, if you don't have enough questions, you won't get enough ideas. So you have to learn how to ask yourself things as much as you can. Okay? Asking questions is also a skill that you have to learn. If you lack this skill, it's a problem for you. When should the young adults of today learn survival skills? What are their characteristics? Why are they the way they are? Who is these young adults today? Ini sebenarnya begini mana? Okay, begini. Okay. So see how many questions I have? So if I answer all of these questions, I would have been brainstorming a lot of the ideas to answer this essay. Right? Contohnya macam ini. All of the questions just now, I answer them and I rearrange them according to the key phrase. Contohnya, ini tadi kita tanyakan, siapa yang adults today itu? Siapa? Apa karakteristik diorang ini? How are they behaving? What do they have that the previous generation don't have? Semua itu, all of the answer is down here. And then I have to rearrange them according to, okay, contohnya lack ni. How do you know that they lack survival skill? What are they lacking? Survival skills, yeah. What are the survival skills that they don't have, that they are lacking? Mari kita tengok. Young adults today, who are they? They are the ones who have a lot of help from other older generation. Their parents, their uncles, their grandparents, blah, blah, blah. Who are the young adults today? They are those who have various online communication tools. Who are the young adults today? They are the ones who are reliant on technology, navigation apps, and all of that. Who are the young adults today? They are the ones who have information overload. These are all the characteristics of young adults today that young adults in the previous years don't have. How do we know that they lack something? They are unable to cook and keep place of living clean without help. They always need help. They are generally more introverted. Generally, majority of them are like that. They are easily lost. They find it difficult to give directions to others. These are all true, huh? Ya kah? Not all lah. You never do general statements like this. Overgeneralizing. But for the sake of argument lah kan. For the sake of argument and for the sake of this video, let's just go with it lah. Huh? Don't argue with me that these are not true. I know it's not true for everyone. We never do general statements, overgeneralization. Tidak boleh. And then they cannot think the pros and cons of an issue. They are mostly unsure of their own decision. Not necessarily today lah, every year also like that. All young adults are like that. Kan? But for the sake of argument, okay, let's focus on the survival skill. Cooking basic skill, like special. All of these are survival skills that the young adults today lacking. They don't have. So, okay. The next thing is you have to build the bridge from one key phrase to another, but you have to remember to link back to the title of the essay. And here comes the weird part. You still have to use TEEL as a guide. Think of how you can elaborate, you can give example, you can explain to bridge the three keyword of key phrase together. But remember, you have to still mention all of this inside the body of your paragraph, okay? Not just the T and the L. Inside the body of the paragraph. You have to mention these and link to these. Okay? And then bridge everything together and form the paragraph using TEL. It is very difficult at first. But as you practice and practice writing again, you try to practice building paragraphs differently, separately. I recommend that you practice building introduction, building paragraph, and building conclusion differently. And then you try to combine all of the skills that you learn to build a whole essay. So, nah, inilah jadinya. Let's read. The first reason why the young adults today lack survival skill is they receive a lot of help from older generations such as their parents, grandparents, or aunties and uncles. These well-intentioned people usually help the young people too much. Berulang-ulang pula. Never mind, I don't edit this paragraph, so please excuse my lack of vocab range. These well-intentioned individuals usually help the young people too much due to their own negative past experience when they were young ones. For instance, many parents experience a difficult upbringing during their childhood until they became young adults too. They were poor financially, their own parents were strict in their disciplining, and they were taught to be independent as early as before puberty. Even before puberty, they are already stressed on independence. This causes them to be overly helpful of their own children, which are the present-day young people. Young people nowadays no longer know how to cook for themselves. This is the part where we are talking about the lack, because their parents will always cook for them or order food for them. This is the reason why they are lacking in the skill of cooking. Many young people do not know how to clean their toilets. This is the second example of the toilets or their own bedroom. If their moms do not clean it for them, they would hire maids or cleaning service. This is how they explain how they avoid. They are dependent on other people who are helping them to help with the skill. The cleaning and cooking skill. Such a basic skill. Huh? That's why we call it survival skill. This is such an unfortunate thing as these cooking and cleaning skills are very important for their survival. See, I'm mentioning survival again inside the body of the paragraph, not just the T and the N, in terms of their physical and mental health. When it comes the time they have to depart from their nuclear family to further their studies or to pursue their career, they would not know how to survive because, kenapa? They don't know how to cook and clean for themselves. Therefore, the young adults of today lack survival. Okay, this is the N. So you see that I'm still using TEEL to guide me, to let me know what to, Okay, T and L it's there already. We know already this is T, this is L. Okay, we don't, that is like the anchor of the whole paragraph. We got the T on top and L at the bottom, the link, the isu and also the penegasan. This is the anchor. And the hole in the middle is how you ask yourself, okay, how to elaborate the statement before this, how to give example, specific example, and how to explain that example to relate it back to the statement given. Macam tu. But the guide is still there lah. This one, the have a lot of help from other generation, unable to cook and clean, and that the cooking and basic housekeeping skills are the skills that they are lacking. Alright? So the conclusion is, most students have the ability to come up with ideas. Of course, yes, they have ideas. The only problem is they are not able to make a cohesive argument that take into consideration all the different keywords or key phrases in a question. You have ideas, but you don't know how to make a whole argument based on the key phrases. Okay, so my recommendation is train yourself or your students, if you are a teacher watching this video, to identify different aspects of the question by identifying keywords or key phrases, different keywords, key phrases in that in that statement or the question or the title, and then train yourself or your students to build bridges between those keywords and key phrases to make a whole complete argument. Okay? Okay, let's try this. One last practice. Okay. These are all the past questions. Let's see how well you can divide the keywords, the key phrases. The first one, kindness is a quality that is gradually disappearing among us today. How many keywords or key phrases do you think this question has? One of my students said kindness is different, quality is different. No, kindness is one part of quality. So kindness is a quality, is one noun phrase that is gradually disappearing among us today. So how would you divide that? Gradually disappearing, gradually or disappearing among us today? Is it different? Is it the same? I would divide it into these three. Kindness is a quality, gradually disappearing us today. You have to say us today, not people in the past, not people in the future, but us today. Us would probably mean Malaysian citizens or the global citizen currently in the present. Next, skill-based education is a ticket to unlimited opportunities in life. This question is very confusing when it first came out. I really had a hard time answering this question. But now, I think I would divide it into skill-based education. Kenapa macam ni dia terlari sikit. This one, ni, termasuk ni. Ticket to unlimited. Not just any opportunities, but must be unlimited. Opportunities in life is different. Ticket ni apa? Macam begini mana? Ticket to unlimited. Okay, next one. Modern society has taken freedom for granted. Modern society. Not any society. The modern society. Not the traditional society. Not the previous society. Okay. And here's the trick. Has taken for freedom granted. My students had a hard time taking this apart because they don't know the fact that there's a phrasal verb here. Take for granted. So, actually, has taken for granted is one. How do these people, modern society, take for granted the freedom that they have? Okay, next. A young generation today is obsessed with beauty standard. This one is what came out last year. So, young generation, do you separate it from today? No, I don't think so. Just like just now lah, young adults today is obsessed with beauty standards. Is obsessed is one word, one key phrase, and then beauty standard. Okay, next. Students should take a gap year before enrolling in universities. Students should take, sama kah? Students should take, students only. Students, dia berdiri sendiri lah. Should take a gap year. Take a gap year. Gap year is a noun phrase kan? They take the verb, should take lah. Before enrolling in universities. When? Before. Not after. Mesti before enrolling in universities. Okay. Next, last one. Moral standards of present generation have changed. Okay. Can I separate these two? Moral standards? No. It has to go together. Moral standards. Present generation have changed. How are the present people nowadays have changed their moral standards? How do they know which is moral, which is immoral? How has it changed compared to people in the previous generation? So you cannot just explain, oh, they are not moral today. You only focus on moral standards, you only focus on it. You have to link it, you have to bridge it to the present generation. What is different with the present generation compared to the previous generation? How does it change? How did it change? What made it change? See how bigger the discussion is when you have all of these questions to the different key phrases instead of just the whole topic as one whole idea. It's so limited compared to if you ask questions on each of the keyword or the key phrase. You have to think about how to bridge the gap between the three key phrases, keywords and key phrases. Okay, this sahaja. I really hope you understand this. If not, you can always watch it back or contact me or discuss it with your teacher. Hopefully, it can help you to improve your writing because I know you already know how to write from SPM. It's just that you don't know how to make it into a complete whole, complete argument. Okay, itu saja. Thank you.